I see things so much differently now than I ever have. Once I had a lifetime of anxiety and depression. I would wake up every morning. My heart was beating rapidly and I felt it beating out of my chest. And I was just wondering, like, why is this even happening to me? I had no idea why I was feeling so anxious and stressed and even depressed. I had no idea. But now with this plant medicine, I truly feel like it's opened up an entirely different world.
Enter the world of magic mushrooms with Microdose U.
Hey there, how are you? Dr. Dave, Microdose U. I am so glad you're here. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that's not just fascinating, but also game changing. We're talking about how some of the most influential figures in the world, namely RFK Jr., Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, are shaping the future of psychedelics and making them more mainstream, or at least attempting to make them more mainstream. Now, some of these guys, one, two, three of them, you might hate them. It doesn't really matter because, again, our goal here at Microdose U and our goal all over is to make these plant medicines accessible to people who need them. So, again, you can like or dislike these people that I'm talking about today, but I really do feel that they are reshaping the way we and government will be looking at psychedelics. So let's set the stage. For those of you that might be new to the show here or really just don't know that much about plant medicine, namely psychedelics, they've been around forever. Indigenous cultures have used them for healing, spirituality, and community building. But here in the West, they've been locked up in the metaphorical basement for decades, thanks to misguided drug policies and stigma. What was that? Richard Nixon, was it, I don't know, roughly 1972 with the war on drugs, when basically all of these plant medicines were made illegal. No medicinal value whatsoever, dangerous, Schedule 1. I mean, is that the way it should be? Psychedelics, especially I talk about psilocybin on this channel, or some of the safest substances out there. I mean, if you want to talk about unsafe, let's talk about alcohol. Let's talk about tobacco, totally legal. It's kind of a joke because they are horribly unsafe. But psilocybin, in particular, you can't overdose on, and it's got incredible healing properties. So anyway, I think things are really, really changing now. Let's start with RFK Jr. This guy has been making waves lately. We can all admit that. Known for his environmental advocacy and willingness to change the status quo, RFK Jr. has been very vocal about the potential of psychedelics, especially for veterans. He's talked about using psilocybin to help treat PTSD and depression in ways that traditional medicine just can't touch. And then, of course, there's Elon Musk. You know him, Tesla. He shoots rockets into space. But, he's also a tremendous proponent of psychedelics, of plant medicine. He's been pretty open about himself using psychedelics for his own mental health. So imagine this. A guy who's basically reshaping transportation and space travel is also advocating for reshaping mental health treatments. It's like he's building the rocket to the stars and the rocket to our brains, right? And of course, we can't leave out Joe Rogan, inarguably the number one podcaster in the world. And again, doesn't matter what you think of him, there's no denying his influence. His podcast has brought a massive platform for psychedelic discussions. He's had guests ranging from scientists to psychonauts, helping millions of people understand the therapeutic potential of substances like psilocybin and other psychedelics. Joe Rogan has been laying the groundwork for years, and now we've got some momentum, guys, that is just unbelievable. I'm proud that I started this channel about 3.5 years ago or so. I think we're on the forefront of this thing because 3.5 years ago, Very few people were talking about this. Now, fast forward to when I'm recording this, very, very end of 2024, leading into 2025. This stuff is much closer to mainstream than ever. So, how does this all fit in? It's not just the big names like RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and Joe Rogan. It's about the David Mattos of the world, the Dr. Daves, the small guys like me that are really pushing for this because we know that it changes lives. It makes you feel different than you've ever felt in your life. And not only that, it's extremely safe. It's much more effective. In my opinion, this is not medical advice. It's much more effective than taking pharmaceuticals such as SSRIs. I've done it both ways. And in my mind, there's no comparison whatsoever about the way I felt from SSRIs and the way I felt from using psilocybin. Yes, magic mushrooms, psychedelics, they aren't a distant dream anymore. These are becoming a reality. And it's up to all of us, every single one of us, to ensure this progress happens responsibly and ethically. So what do you think? Again, obviously I'm no Joe Rogan. I mean, on one hand, I wish I were, but on the other hand, I don't think I want to be that famous or that popular. I'm happy kind of being the little guy here, sharing my personal story about how psilocybin has literally reshaped my entire life. I see things so much differently now than I ever have. Once I had a lifetime of anxiety and depression. I would wake up every morning. My heart was beating rapidly and I felt it beating out of my chest. And I was just wondering, like, why is this even happening to me? I had no idea why I was feeling so anxious and stressed and even depressed. I had no idea. But now with this plant medicine, I truly feel like it's opened up an entirely different world. Not only getting rid of the anxiety, the depression, but understanding just even a little bit more about what is what is everything, what's going on with everything, spirituality, creativity, kindness to other people. I feel like I've advanced so far in the nearly 4 years that I've been microdosing psilocybin. It's absolutely a life changer, but still people are afraid. Not necessarily are they afraid of the substance or are they afraid of the medicine, but they're afraid of the legalities because there's still many places in the US here where I speak and also all over the world where it's not legal. And I'm working with a client right now as we speak, a high level coaching client I'm working with. And we decided that she is going to be trying to microdose, but she is so anxious. She's worried about even acquiring the medicine. And if she has the medicine in her home, what's going to happen? Is she going to get her house raided or busted? And that's no, that's not going to happen because people, they're not looking for people like that. No, it's not going to happen. And with Elon and RFK Jr. and with Joe Rogan and President Trump helping things to progress rapidly into the future, it's going to be less and less of a worry for sure. But right now, yeah, there are people that are definitely worried about the legality, and that's stopping so many people from living their lives the way they probably should be lived and experienced. So I feel horrible. But again, with these influential people here that I just mentioned, really on the forefront of trying their best to get this quickly accepted and used as a mainstream plant medicine for mental health and beyond, I think we're looking at a great time. And we've got nothing but really fantastic things to look forward to in the very, very near future. What do you think? What do you think about legality? Have you microdosed? Are you afraid to microdose because it's not legal, because you're afraid of the medicine? Drop me a word in the comments and let me know your personal feelings on this plant medicine. Just tell me what your feelings are. And very recently, I just did an episode where I shared how bad my anxiety actually was. It was off the charts. And if you're interested in finding out about my anxiety and what I did to take care of that, go ahead and click on this video. I'm pointing to it if you're watching this on YouTube, but I'm not sure exactly which side I'm pointing to. So you'll see it. If my pointing finger is wrong, I think you'll find it. And remember, if you like what you're seeing here or hearing, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. The more people that know about this, the better it's going to be for everybody. Our goal here is to help the entire world feel better mentally, physically, and even much more than that. My name is Dr. Dave. This is Microdose U. And remember, I do love you. You've got a friend. You are no longer alone in this. I've got a brand new episode that comes out every single Wednesday and Friday. Talk to you soon.